National Sandwich Day. We're out here with Tremaine Wright, the control board chairman for the Cannabis Control Board of New York City, New York State, if you will. Bigger than the city, the whole state. And we have sandwiches, we talked cannabis, about what you can do, how you can get in. All the information and the sandwiches. Hey.
How are you?
How you doing?
I'm good.
So we're here doing a sandwich day tour, and we're trying out the best sandwiches in Brooklyn, and everyone has said that Mama Luisa's makes some of the best sandwiches in Brooklyn.
Thank you.
So here we are. When did Mama Luisa start serving these sandwiches?
We here more of the 50 years serving the community.
Okay, so we're gonna try some sandwiches, Josephina. I'm going to actually meet a friend here, and her name is Tremaine Wright, and when she gets here, we're gonna order some breakfast sandwiches. Hey, Tremaine Wright.
Good to see you.
How you doing?
I'm great. Happy National Sandwich Day.
Boom. Love a good sandwich.
Yes, I
Since
love
the
this
60s.
menu.
It's crazy. I mean, it's breakfast time, so we might as well get a bacon, egg, and cheese.
I'm with you.
And then we're gonna talk about the state of, cannabis legislation and legalization in the state of New York.
We are excited about that. So yeah, let's get those sandwiches.
Look at that.
Gorgeous.
Mama Luisa.
Thank you.
I want to talk to Tremaine Wright about the state of legalization and legislation of cannabis in New York State. And I was like, what better way to do it than over some sandwiches?
Well, thank you very much.
So won't you start off by telling us a little bit more about what your role is and what the Cannabis Control Board does?
I'm the chair of the Cannabis Control Board. The Cannabis Control Board was created under our Marijuana Regulation and Taxation Act, which was passed by the legislature in 2021. It's part of the Office of Cannabis Management. We're the governing body. So we're tasked with granting licenses and developing and passing regulations. Our OCM staff manages all the day-to-day operations and interacts with the public generally on behalf of the institution. We are really geared toward making sure that average New Yorkers have access and opportunity to participate in this industry.
It's a new industry, and when we think of new industries, we think of the San Francisco gold rush. We think of things that when industries become brand new, you think of how people can benefit and how they can get their foot in the door and how they can maintain their foot, because getting your foot in the door is different than opening a business and maintaining a business and staying in business and creating a legacy business that you could pass down to your kids and that you can create some generational wealth. And I think that's very important. And those are some of the things we're gonna talk about. You know what?
Yes.
Let's go over to Krabby Shack.
Oh, one of my favorites.
Yes.
Let's get there.
Yes. Tremaine, I am excited about these Krabby Shack sandwiches.
You know this is one of my favorites.
Ooh, Black-owned female business. So Fifi and Gwen are amazing. They've been doing amazing things. So let's go inside.
All righty.
Bang.
Hey, how are you?
Hey.
Good to see you.
So one of the amazing things about Krabby Shack, besides the amazing food and besides the fact that they've been growing and they've been expanding, one of the most amazing things about it is that this amazing business is owned by two Black women. Two amazing, pushing it forward, community-driven members, Fifi and Gwen. Love that. Can you tell us a little bit about Krabby Shack?
Yeah, well, we have been in business. We opened 2014. Both had no experience in the food world at all. Fifi was fashion stylist. I was the music executive. And she came to me with the idea, said wanted to open a crab restaurant in Brooklyn, and thought that was a genius. No one at the time, there were no crab places in Brooklyn. I mean, now there are many.
Right.
But at the time, there weren't any. And we left our careers. I quit my job. She stopped, and 6 months later, we opened the Krabby Shack.
Wow, that's a great story. What did we get, actually, sandwich-wise?
We ordered the Nashville hot fried fish sandwich and the lobster roll.
Put me in, coach.
Yeah, we got crab and lobster in
Crab
there.
and lobster. That's what the clobster helps the clobster. It's the special breaded, toasted situation. I think this is like a hot dog bun. Look at that.
That's good.
Tremaine, so won't you fill us in on like what kind of licenses are needed, the process of applying for those licenses, the fees?
New York State is doing something different, something that has not been done anywhere else in the nation. We are rolling out a multi-tiered licensing system. So we oftentimes refer to it as the two-tiered system because you cannot have licenses in both tiers. So we have one, the growers, the nurseries, manufacturers and processors. And then the other tier are going to be those that face the consumer. It's our dispensary retail owners, our consumption spaces, and those are the people who are direct and delivery service that directly communicate with the consumer. You cannot hold licenses in both places, and therefore we have effectively broken up the licensing system so that no one can run from seed to sale, with the exception of micro businesses, which look a lot like our craft businesses here in New York State.
Okay.
People need to select one of the 9 license types, and we've already made a very strategic decision that we are going to make sure that the licenses remain affordable, because we can't say that it's accessible to people if they can't afford it. We want it to be something that makes sense, that it can fit into the normal course of business expenses. And so that's really what we're designing as we develop the regulations, a system that allows people to be compliant, that allows them to deliver safe, tested product to our New York consumers, that people can rely on and know that this is something that has gone through a process and that it is not laced and or that it doesn't come from, that it's not contaminated.
Adulterated with anything besides the actual product.
Exactly. We needed to address the harm that was done by prohibition. The state legislature took the first step back in 2019. They passed the decriminalization bill. In that bill, it contained the expungement provisions that have allowed us to expunge over 400,000 records. Any marijuana-related charges that are no longer considered illegal under the MRTA were expunged. There are no people sitting in jail related to cannabis crimes and or charges. We are making sure that we provide expungement for all of those cases. It is an ongoing process, and if anyone wants to check their particular record, they can go to the court of jurisdiction where their case was handled, and they can obtain a record to say that it has actually been expunged, and they can get that notification.
Where would someone go to apply for those licenses?
So anyone interested in information should go to cannabis.ny.gov. On that site, there are links to all of our draft regulations, as well as the conditional regulations, and that's also where someone will be able to access all applications as they become available.
But now you need the loot to actually start the business. How can someone sort of address that hurdle?
So our state legislature was thinking about that this year. And in 2022, they passed the Seeding Opportunity Initiative. This is our first opportunity, one, to prioritize those persons who the MRTA says we need to, which are those persons who have been charged and or convicted of marijuana-related charges. And it allowed us to also create a $200 million loan fund, which is being managed by our partners at DASNY, the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York.
Now we're in Crown Heights at Krabby Shack, the Krabby Shack,
the original.
And now we're gonna go over to Clinton Hill, Fort Greene, to Brooklyn Hero Shop, continue our conversation, and have some more sandwiches. You've given out some amazing intel about the whole legislation and the legalization of cannabis in New York. Let's talk about some more things once we get a bite of these sandwiches.
All right, let's do it.
Yes. Ooh, look at that.
Divine. Nice.
Those are amazing.
Spec and Marauder.
So this is Robert. He's one of the partners here at the Brooklyn Hero Shop. If you've never been to the Brooklyn Hero Shop, I'm not gonna tell you you should come to the Brooklyn Hero Shop. I'm gonna say you have to come to the Brooklyn Hero Shop.
We started when we opened up in the middle of COVID, honestly. We wanted to focus more on how everything was moving to go style. This area, there's a lot of sit-down restaurants and a lot of places you could dine in. There's not too many grab-and-go style places with our classic Italian meats and stuff that you can't really get everywhere. We do a lot of imported goods and stuff, so again, we took a big step starting at that time, but things have been successful. The product does sell itself.
National Sandwich Day at Brooklyn Hero. Bang, bang. Whoa. The cheese is amazing. That's cilantro? What is that, basil? What is that, velvet? It's delicious. So, Tremaine, we spoke about many of the sort of pertinent topics that someone would want to know. I know you said that there's some mentorship program?
Yes, one of the things that we wanted to do is make sure that New Yorkers are prepared. So while we've been working with partners throughout the state to make sure that our regular business development partners are ready and equipped to assist budding entrepreneurs, we also know that we need to do some education. So the Office of Cannabis Management, in connection with some of our SUNYs as well as Cornell University, are offering a cultivation mentorship program. In this program, applications for which have just opened up. You can find it at cannabis.ny.gov.
You should get involved. Look at the information on the screen. You should know that if you go there, you can apply, you can get mentorship, you can get financing if you get approved. The lane is open for you.